Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today, we probably have something interesting. I have not walked over there yet, but there was cracks on this hammer like 2 days ago, and I called the customer and we were talking about ways to fix it and whatnot. Well, today's Saturday. He calls me yesterday, Friday evening. I'm out of town and I can't get to this until today. And of course they need it running by Monday. So let's see. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Well, would you just look at that? Huh. That is crazy. Well, not 100% sure what I'm gonna do yet, but I do know I'm going to cut that off and replace it with something. Probably use that as a template. We'll see what I do here. I'm not sure yet. Probably get that cut off and then go from there. Okay, we got the cap cut off there. There was a old beat up rubber piece behind it. I've never had one of these apart, so this is all new to me. This has definitely seen better days. We got the cap right there. We're gonna head back to the shop and see what type of material I have in stock that we could use, because I can't go buy anything. It's the weekend, so we'll be able to make something work, I'm sure. Stay tuned. So update, customer wanted me to take it apart here and take the shell back to my shop and fix it and then deliver the shell to them Monday morning. So they sent out one of their guys to help me do that. We got her stripped apart and then I'll be back at the shop to get her all fixed up. All right, back at the shop. Luckily, I had a piece of plate, 1 5/8, and this is 1.5 inches right here. I'm sure it wore out a little bit more, but I believe 1 5/8 will work, and then we'll put a bunch of strips, wear strips, and different things on there. So should last quite a bit longer. I don't know why they don't do that factory, probably because they want to sell you more parts in the long run, I guess. So ideally we would have this water jetted or maybe high definition plasma cut. I don't have time to do that, so I'm gonna have to do everything by hand. Maybe there'll be some machining in there. We'll see how nice and perfect I can get the circle. Not too bad for doing it by hand. Not too shabby. I've seen people cut better with a torch. But not too bad. Not too terrible. 1 5/8 cut by hand with a plasma. Okay, we got the inside of this cleaned up. Still a little bit of cut marks in there, but it is pretty square. So I think that's gonna work. I would have liked to have had this cut on a water jet or something, or I could have made some type of boring head for my mill. The one that I have does not go to this size, but this particular measurement isn't that critical because all this does is hold in the guts of the hammer, and a rubber piece just sits on here, and then the actual bearing or bushing sits right here. So it's not super critical, but it's somewhat important. But I think that's a pretty round hole, especially for doing it by hand and in a rush on a Saturday. Yep. All right, let's get this, I guess you would call it a body or a shell. We'll get this cleaned up, probably stand it up on end. We'll get this cleaned up and get that fitted on there. Make sure the hole is in the center. Start welding it out, and then we can start adding gussets. We've got some cracks to gouge out and weld up as well. Here's a little comparison between the old one and the new one. This is probably a little bit wider than an OEM, but it's the same thickness, and this should be squared off here. So there's going to be quite a big difference here, especially when we add wear items onto the end of this. Then they can continue using the hammer as a shovel or a rake or all the things it's not, which is probably why it wore out like this. Alrighty. Okay, there was a crack here, and I plasma gouged that out. You can see how plasma removes the weld pretty good. And this was cracked, or it wasn't necessarily cracked. It was because this plate is supposed to go up and meet this one. It had just wore through, so there was a seam there, and it's an overlapped joint, I guess you would call it. So I just gouged this back and then cleaned it up so that when I do all my welding up here, I can put a weld on that, and then that will be strong again. And the same thing with this side. And there's no crack on this side. So I cut these out of 3/4 inch AR400, and I'm going to put them like so. It's kind of hard to see. Kind of like this, all the way around to put a shorter one there. Longer one will go here, and then it will tie all that in like really good. Almost do one like that too. Okay, I'm gonna get all these tacked up, and then I'll bring you guys back to check that out. All right, it's been a few hours. I've just been hauling butt trying to get this thing done. You can kind of see the idea I was going for here. If you can see that, kind of see that weld, and then we'll do 2 more here. Weld that up. That's the idea. Gonna try to have it done tonight. not too bad. 23 inches. That'll do. All right, the next morning, I finished it late last night. It was dark and video probably wouldn't have come out that good. So you can see kind of what I was going after with wear plates and stuff to help when they run into rocks and push concrete around, because they use this thing to break up old concrete mostly. So they're like dragging around big old concrete boulders and stuff like that. And just as a comparison, you can see that that's what we cut off. Well, it pretty much fell off. That's what we cut off, and that's what we replaced it with. So I think, I don't know, last maybe a year, maybe less. They're pretty rough on it. But that's fine. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. And stay tuned, because we never know what's going to happen. I know what I'm doing tomorrow, but that could change by the minute. You never know. Could have a emergency rush job, could be line boring, it could be anything. So if you like this kind of stuff, then you're on the right channel.